Hello everybody, it's Mr. Kramer again. This is video lesson solving systems of equations. So we started this last class, now we're going to build on it, give more practice. If we get into this, and the top has just a recap, but I got a bit of a warm up. I thought, hey, let's get our brain working. So if you read this top part, it talks about my son and I go for a bike ride, and we go through this area called Hume Park. And there's this road down the hill. What's nice is there's no cars. So you can imagine this is me and my son, vroom, zipping down, going as fast as we can. When we went up, my son was really smart because he zigzagged. So when he was going up, he didn't go straight up. So this picture over here shows this top view. So he went like this. He'd go across and then he'd turn, he'd go across, turn. And I asked him, hey, why are you doing that? And he said, it's easier. So that's my question to you. Why did he zigzag? You go, how? How? Hit pause. Just think about it for a moment. I'll give you the solution in a second. So if you've unpaused, by going zigzag, he's taking this distance here and making it longer. Instead of the road going up really quickly, by zigzagging, he's making it super long. So now his hill is longer. So he's got like the hill's not as steep. I thought that was so awesome of my son. So I said, the hill is longer and not as steep. I think that was wonderful math because you could see that straight up is long or short. By zigzagging, it makes it longer. Longer means not as steep. Awesome. I think that's a good way to start our brain. Okay, let's get into the lesson. We're going to be doing solving by elimination. One of the things I want you to do is if you refer back to last day's lesson, we had these steps. Solving two equations by elimination. So let's take a look at these steps. Make the y coefficients the same value, and one of them negative. Add the two equations, solve for x. So we're just going to go through those three steps. So if you look at this first problem, always take a deep breath. It slows us down, gives us this peace of calm. So if you look at the y coefficient, they're both 5. They're already the same value. One of them already is negative. Perfect. So we're going to add them. 3x plus 2x is 5x. 5y minus 5y, 0. 11 plus 14 is 25. So if we simplify this, we have 5x equals 25. We don't want 5x, we want 1x, so we're going to divide by 5. So x equals 5. Awesome. We have done a great job. Now please make sure you finish off the entire question, which is finding the y value too. So we're going to take this 5 and we're going to put it in just one of the equations. You could use the second equation just as easily and you will get the same answer. So x is now 5. So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 5y equals 11. Let's minus 15 to both sides. We have 0, bang, gone. The 5y comes down. 11 minus 15 is minus 4. Interesting here. So we're going to have a fraction for our answer, and y equals minus 4 over 5. I like fractions. If you like decimals, that's fine too. But our final answer is 2 point. The x first, the y afterwards. So that's our solution. Great job. Let's do another one for practice, build up some confidence. So if we go to question number 2, we look at the coefficient of y. We have 4 and we have 2. We're like, whoa, they're not the same. How do we make them the same? We're going to times the entire equation by 2. So we're going to go 2 times, and remember there's a 1 in front of that x. So 2 times 1 is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4y, and then 2 times 8 is 16. So I'm going to ignore this middle part. So I've got 5x and 2x minus 4y plus 4y, 5 and 16. What's really neat now is these ones will cancel. Minus 4 plus 4. So we're going to add them like we did in question 1. 5x plus 2x is 7x. I'm not going to write 0 because I know it's gone, equals, well, 5 plus 16 is 21. We don't want 7x, we want 1x. We divide both sides by 7, so x equals 3. That's awesome. Just like this last one, let's put 3 back up there. 5 times 3 minus 4 times y equals 5. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. What a coincidence. Minus 4y equals 5. Let's minus 15 to both sides. That's gone. We have minus 4y equals 5 minus 15 is minus 10. We're going to have a fraction again, but you guys are so smart. It's not going to be a problem. But divide by minus 4. Really be careful of your negatives, because in our first question, one negative, our answer is negative. Here we've got 2 negatives. So that means it's going to make the answer positive. So I'm going to work to the right here. 4 divided by 4, minus 4 divided by 4, it's 1. Negative 10 divided by 4 is going to be, well, 5 over 2, or 2.5. Let's give our answer in decimal form. Just do something different. So our x, 3, 2.5. At this point, I want you to practice keeping on going. I'll give you one little hint over here. In this one, you've got 3y and 2y. So to make them have the same coefficient, we're going to times this one by 2, because I'm going to make 3 into 6. So that's going to give us 8x plus 6y equals minus 16. Now we want to make 2 into minus 6. Well, that's going to mean we're going to times by minus 3. Make sure we have the same number, a negative. So 3 times x is minus 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is minus 6y. And then 3 times 4, negative 3 times 4 is minus 12. At this point, you've got the same number. One of them is negative. You can add them, get the x value, put the x back in, so you're on the right track. So keep on going. One last hint for question number 4. Making 5 and 8 into the same value might be difficult. But if you look over here to the left, 2x, negative 2x, it's already done. For this one, set the x coefficient to the same value and negative. Well, why do we do it? By making the x value, the x coefficient the same and negative, we can add them right away. So now 2x minus 2x, it's gone. 0x. 5 plus 8, 13y. 15 plus 11 is 26. Now we're going to solve for y. Why not? So divide both sides by 13, and y equals 2. So you have to be careful. We've now done it really easily, but now we're dealing with y. Let's put y back in. So we're going to put it right over there. So we have 2x plus 5 times 2 equals 15. 5 times 2 is 10. So 2x plus 10 equals 15. Minus 10 to both sides. We have 2x equals 5. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 2.5. When you present your final answer, make sure the x is first. 2.5, comma 2. So I've left you with question 3 to finish off. If you also look, you've got a whole sheet of practice. I've given you answers in the bottom. Great stuff. Now we're going to do a question where we use a technique called substitution. Now I've got 4 steps here for you. The first step is rearrange one variable to be y equals or x equals. So I'm going to guide you the first couple times. I look at these 2 equations and I found the y all by itself. That's going to make it easier. So I'm going to rearrange this for y equals. Well, to get rid of the 2x, I'm going to go minus 2x, minus 2x. That means on the left-hand side, it's gone, and the right-hand side, it's 7 minus 2x. So if we now pause, we have made y equal to one whole thing. We're going to take that, we're going to put that into the second equation. So we've got minus 3x plus 2, and now instead of y, we're going to punch this in. 7 minus 2x equals, and keep us on the right-hand side, minus 7. Now you got to do some algebra. So keep the minus 3x plus 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4x equals minus 7. Now you got to do some gathering of like terms. Minus 3x minus 4 minus 7x plus 14 equals minus 7. Get rid of the 14, minus 14, minus 14. On the left-hand side, you have minus 7x equals minus 21. Running out of space here, but I'm going to squeeze it in. Divide both sides by minus 7. Again, be careful with the negatives. 2 negatives make your answer positive. So we have x equals 21 divided by 7 is 3. Kind of neat, like we've got a good answer. Let's finish it off. Punch the 3 back in. So we're going to go 2, we're going to put the x right there, times 3 plus y equals 7. 2 times 3 is 6 plus y equals 7. I can see that y is 1 because 1 plus 6 is 7. My answer is 3, 1. I think this is a great technique. Substitution always works. Sometimes it's a bit sort of like messy here with the algebra, but it always works. So let's take a look at this next question. In question number 2, let's make sure we've got enough space there. I've got a y all by itself again, so I'm going to move everything else. So I'm going to move plus 5x and add 5x there. So now if I rearrange this equation, what have I got? Well, the left-hand side, the 5x, the minus 5x is gone. I've still got y. What's on the right? Minus 7 plus 5x. Well, now I know what y is equal to, so let's substitute it into there. So you've got 3x minus 3y, but what is y? That whole bracket. Minus 7 plus 5x equals minus 15. So the 3x stays the same. Minus 3 times minus 7 is plus 21. Let's pause. Remember that negative in front of the 3, we think it's subtraction, but it's important we include it. Negative 3 times negative 7, positive 21. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15x equals negative 15. So now we're going to move things together. So the 3x and minus 15x is minus 12x. Let's not get rid of the 21. Let's take our time. So the 21 is just over there. To get rid of 21, we're going to minus it to both sides. So now you've got minus 12x equals, well, negative 15 minus 21 is minus 36. We're almost done. Divide both sides by minus 12, and x equals 3. Wow, what a coincidence. I'm in shock, but also that's what the math says. X is 3. Let's punch it back in to see what our y value is. Let's use this one. Minus 5 times 3 plus y equals minus 7. Well, minus 3 times 5, or minus 5 times 3 is minus 15 plus y equals minus 7. We're going to add 15 to both sides. So now y equals minus 7 plus 15 is 8. We're almost done. Put it all together. The x goes first. 3, 8. So you've done substitution. So remember in substitution, you're going to take one of your equations, rearrange it so it's y equals. Just so you know, some of the questions might be x equals. You're going to put that right-hand side back into the second equation and solve for x, solve for y. So if you look at your next page, you've got some practice that I've given you. If you look at the page after that, more practice. Here I've given you some solutions. And we're on the home stretch, we're on the last type of question. And this may be something that you wish you'd had right in the beginning. What happens when you've got crazy decimals? You can use the exact same techniques. In this one, if I had to solve it algebraically, I would use substitution because you got some messy numbers. But what I want to teach you today is you can always solve it graphically. They're wonderful tools. And if you show your teacher what you're doing, it's a valid way of solving it. So I'm going to bring my computer in. Can you see that okay? Let's zoom out a bit. Make sure you can see that. Okay, here's Desmos again. If you look at the very top, I've got the first equation, 0.3x minus 1.27y equals 0.08. Okay, let's punch in the second equation. 8.25x plus 1.21y equals 1.02. Okay, so the first thing, I've got the exact same equations. Well, if you look over in Desmos, the equation, you're like, hey. And if you look over here, we can zoom in. I'm going to use my mouse and zoom in. I'm going to click on the intersection point. It tells me the answer. It tells me the answer. So what's really neat is when you graph something with a program, you can have the answer. So I'm going to get my sheet of paper and I'm going to write the first decimal. And it's 0.13 and negative 0.03. So I've written the answer. If I was to make a sketch of this, I would do so. And you know, if you're already solving it graphically, I would either just cut and paste from your screen. If your teacher wanted to see it, you could ask for it. But right now, I just want to say that you can solve things graphically. It's a great way of doing it. So if you look at the rest of the worksheet, you can use big numbers, same thing, zoom in, zoom out, and 2 more practices. On the very bottom, I've got a bonus for you, but the big thing is, in today's lesson, you've got solving things graphically, solving things with substitution, and then in the very beginning, we had solve by elimination. So these are really useful tools. You're gonna be using for them all the time in math. I hope you get this. Great lesson. Call me if you have any questions. Thanks very much.